I generally respectfully decline offers to review Amazon bike products, but once in a while a product catches my eye and seems like a potential gem in a sea of, well, sometimes mediocre stuff. In this video, I'm showcasing two products from the Amazon seller Unique? I don't know how to say it. But the products are seriously good and modestly priced. And of course, the obligatory disclaimer, yes, they sent these products over to the channel for review, but they didn't tell me what to say, and all thoughts and opinions are my own. Now, the first product is the more, I'll say, unique offering. Stupid. And it's this Stepless Ratchet multi-tool. Now, the main value add here is the ratcheting mechanism, which is all housed in the head here, and it's pretty cool because as you, quote, ratchet it, there are no clicks, and even the slightest angular displacement changes the bite point when you go to tighten or loosen a bolt. Now, a standard ratchet, on the other hand, has maybe 20 or 25 distinct points of engagement per revolution, which means that if you're in a really tight spot and you only have a few degrees of angular displacement, then the ratchet might not actually be able to rotate to the next click, and the tool is basically useless at that point. Now, the stepless ratchet essentially offers an infinite number of points of engagement, so even if you can only turn the ratchet a quarter degree at a time, eventually you'd still be able to tighten or loosen that hypothetically hard to reach bolt. Now, throw this tech in a rear hub and you'll give those Industry 9 Hydra hubs, you know, the ones that sound like the swarm of angry bees, a run for their money. I actually think there's hubs out there that already claim infinite points of engagement. Anyways, aside from that primary value add, it's actually a really nice and well executed tool. Now, the handle houses the bit cartridge, which contains a ton of commonly used bits, including all the metric Allen sizes you need from 2 to 8 millimeters. Yes, including the 2.5 as well. Now, there's some screwdriver bits and Torx bits as well, including the T25 driver you need for those 6-bolt disc rotors. Now, there's also a 55 millimeter extension in the center to give you some additional functionality. Now, this particular tool has even earned itself a couple of design and innovation awards, which I'm not too familiar with, but it says something nonetheless. Now, beyond the basic functionality, the tool is just really well put together. The components all appear to be machined alloy and everything fits together really well. It comes in a black anodized or a silver finish like the one I have here. Now, this is definitely a contender for a multi-tool that you could carry on your bike as part of a complete compact repair kit, but I've actually been using it in the shop in conjunction with my normal Allen keys and my Y-wrench. Now, it has a really nice feel and it does actually speed up some tasks where the ratcheting action is beneficial. Now, I have to be totally honest, there aren't that many instances where the stepless feature is a true lifesaver. Generally, you can get the job done with a combination of standard hex wrenches and a Y-wrench, but it is nice to have another option if the need ever arises. And like I said, it actually makes for a rather luxurious on-bike carry if you have some extra room and you don't want to deal with a tiny emergency only multi-tool on the road or trail. Now, you have a couple of ways to actually use this tool. One is with the head by itself to quickly spin bolts in or out, and then you could screw on the handle, which allows you to torque bolts down up to a claimed 12 Newton meters without risk of damaging the tool. Of course, in either configuration, you can throw the extension on for some additional reach. I should also note that there's no reverse switch like a typical ratchet to change from tighten or loosen or vice versa. You just insert the bit into the opposite side. All in all, it's a really cool tool, and I'm definitely happy that I took a closer look. And while your standard shop tools can probably get the job done just fine, this stepless ratchet tool is a real win in my opinion, and it doubles as a go-to shop tool as well as a functional compact on-bike carry option. Now, the next tool is strictly an on-bike carry tool and is more traditional in its functionality, but the quality and the features are what set this one apart for me. Now, this here is the high-volume machined mini pump with a flexible hose and built-in gauge. Now, again, I opted for the silver finish, but it also comes in a black option as well. Now, I'll start by mentioning that with mini pumps in general, it's always a balance of volume per stroke and maximum pressure achievable. Now, generally speaking, a high volume per stroke means that it can't reach as high a pressure, but it's faster to inflate. Now, the benefit of a high pressure pump is just that. It can reach higher maximum pressures, but the trade-off is that each stroke only inflates the tire by a little bit, and you could potentially be standing there for minutes pumping up your tire before you actually reach your desired pressure. Now, this unique mini pump actually comes in 4 different options, a high volume and a high pressure option, each available in a small or a large size. Now, the high pressure one goes up to 140 psi, which, if we're being honest, is totally overkill by today's standards. This small size high volume pump still inflates up to 110 psi, which is like more than double the highest pressure I run on any bike that I own. Now, just like with the stepless ratchet, the finish is pretty premium, and it comes in a black anodized or classic looking silver like this one that I have here. Despite its size, it only weighs 100 grams, and it's got a ton of features that honestly make it much more usable than more compact options. Now, sure, there are minimalist pumps like this Blackburn mini thing that I've been carrying around for years, but pumps like this, while small in size, are actually pretty inconvenient to use and are only really good for getting you out of a pinch. Now, I really like how the Unique pump has a built-in flexible hose, which makes the actual pumping action a little bit less awkward, and then you can stow away the hose really nicely. Now, the head is reversible and accommodates Schrader and Presta valves, and the best part, in my opinion, is that this mini pump has a built-in analog pressure gauge in the hose. Now, I know that other pumps have this feature, but with tire pressure being such an important parameter these days, it just makes sense to have a portable pump that can actually tell you the pressure right on board. Now, the obvious question is, well, that's cool and all, but is it actually accurate? And as far as I can tell, it is pretty spot on. Now, the gauge itself only has hash marks at every 5 psi, but it's pretty easy to read, and I was able to discern that the pressure reading here was about 21 psi, just a touch over the 20 psi hash mark. Then when I verified with my digital gauge, lo and behold, 21 psi on the dot. Now, needless to say, I was pretty impressed, and I really think that it's a valuable feature to have on a mini pump in 2022. Now, the pump also comes with a minimal bottle cage mount, which just uses a pair of rubber straps that kind of resemble those volet straps and hold the pump really securely. So is there anything I didn't like about this pump? Not really. I mean, perhaps that this rubber dust cap doesn't quite fit as well as one might like. It stays on, but it just feels a little bit insecure. Now, I can't say for sure that it would fall off during a chunky descent, but to be honest, I generally keep my mini pump in a bar bag or a frame bag and not mounted to the frame in the first place. Okay, so that's the Stepless Ratchet multi-tool and the small size, high volume mini pump with built-in gauge. Now, both are designed and manufactured really well, and I honestly believe that if a premier brand put its name on either one of these tools, they might sell them for 3 times what the company is asking. Now, if you're interested in checking either one of these tools out, using the affiliate links down in the description lets Amazon know that I sent you there, and I get a small commission if you decide to make a purchase, which of course helps the channel out a lot. All right, well, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks again for watching, and thanks again for subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.